Hey there guys, this is Slamzeron, aka YouTube Stasuke. As you all know, I'm a really big fan of the Tales series. Pretty much everybody knows that. People, if you've been subscribed to me for a really long time, or you've talked to me for a really long time, or even a short amount of time, you know that I really like the Tales series. And with that said, I'd like to kind of take some time to give my thoughts on the Tales series. Give my thoughts on what I think about the series. It's basically my favorite video game series. Kind of like how Dragon Ball Z is my favorite anime series. To start off with, it's no question and pretty obvious that my favorite Tales character is Reed Herschel from Tales of Eternia. Part of the reason of that is because I like how he uses a sword. When it comes to JRPGs, I like to choose characters who have swords as my favorite characters. And his design, I like it because it's sort of simple, and there's not really much to it. And I think that's pretty cool. I also like how he has red hair. Red hair, I don't know why, but I really like red hair. Red's my favorite color, so that's probably part of it. And yeah. My favorite girl, I'd have to say, would be Estelle from Tales of Vesperia. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's probably because she has pink hair. Because I like girls with pink hair, kind of going along with the whole red hair thing. I also like her design, particularly her clothes. I think it's a nice design. I mean, it's sort of a flower shape. That's sort of a Tales thing now. And I like how she can use a sword. I mean, or she can use a sword. Not like Reed, where a sword is basically his main weapon, even though he can use other stuff. And what I mean by that is, he could use other stuff in his original game, but nowadays he's a sword-only person. Estelle, she can use either. She can use either sword or a mace, and of course she's better with a mace, but As far as my favorite villain goes, I'd have to say it's Daus. I like Daus because he's in my opinion the coolest looking of all the Tales villains, and I also like how he's not necessarily a bad guy. I like how he doesn't even look like a bad guy. That's kind of what I like about him. He looks like he would be a good guy. He looks like he would say like, "Oh, we need to defend the world." And if not to give away anything, or I'm gonna give away a lot. What am I kidding? You know how like he was trying to protect his world. That was his big reason why he was trying to suck the mana out of everything. Or I don't even know anymore. I haven't played Fantasia in a while. But yeah. Those are my favorite characters, at least. Let's kind of look at how I got into Tales. Like most people, I got into Tales from Tales of Symphonia. Kind of like how people got into Star Ocean from Star Ocean 3, and people got into the Elder Scrolls from Oblivion. And those two things, including Tales, so that makes it 3. Those 3 things are true for me, sadly. I first heard about Symphonia and a Ad Nintendo Power, I think it was, about the game, and it was one of those 2-page ad things, and bleh. One thing that sort of struck me and like kind of made me go thing that kind of interests me was the phrase full customization growth, and it's like, huh. Now, I had been playing Champions of Norath at the time, so I was sort of getting into the whole create your own character thing. It's like, oh, that's cool. It's an anime game, and I get to make my own character. Because I thought that was sort of in my pedigree, since, I like anime, and they're there. So that was sort of what I thought the game would be like. It's like, okay, I need to play this game when it comes out. And this was in, like, 5th grade, so like after 5th grade. This was like the summer of 5th grade. And so, yeah. And then 6th grade came around, did other things. Then, and I sort of forgot about the game. Then I went to Blockbuster one day to find a game to play, and I saw Tales of Symphonia. And I thought to myself, I need to rent this game, or else I probably won't get a chance, because it was the only copy there. And this is also the first encounter of a Tales game at Blockbuster, or any game rental thing that I've ever seen. I wasn't really big on Hollywood Video, and all the Hollywoods in my area are closed down, so I don't know if they're doing anything. And plus, I found my copy of pardon any squeakings. I'm sitting in a wooden rocking chair in my basement with two creepy windows. Anyway, and this Blockbuster didn't really have much. In fact, it even closed down recently. And so it's like the only time that I've really ever seen a Tales game anywhere for rental, except for Gamefly. They have stuff. And so I rented the game, played it, fell in love with it, slept with it. I'm just kidding. Played it religiously, and then came around the time when Kratos left the party. And of course Zelos came into the party. And I had already questioned from the beginning of the game whether or not he was a guy or a girl. I honestly hadn't. He looked like a girl to me. But my friend Transangel, he kept saying, no, it's a guy. He's a little more anime oriented than I am. But anyway. And so I figured out Zelos was the guy, and it was Zelos, not Zelos, so that's sort of my way of thinking. Anyway, and I was trying to find ways to get Kratos back into your party, and of course I figured out about the whole scene at Flanor thing, say no to everybody, talk to Kratos, but there's a bit of a misconception with it. You don't have to have him like you just for him to come and talk to you. He'll talk to you, anytime at that point. I don't know if it's the same way in the PlayStation version. I plan to play it sometime in the near future, but as far as I know about the GameCube version, you don't have to have him like you. Anyway, and so I was looking up codes about that, and an old preview for Tales of Symphonia before it came out. I saw something about it being the successor for a game called Tales of Destiny. And I thought, Tales of Destiny. This is interesting. Is this the story of Kratos, Ewan, Mythos, and Martel? Well, no. I'm actually a lot wrong. I'm really off. Anyway. And so, it intrigued me. And I said, okay, I'm going to go on Google Images, because I wasn't really into looking up stuff on the internet. When I wanted to know about something, I would look up a picture of it. And so I looked up on Google Images, and I was kind of known slightly, not really known, but sort of known in my mind, in Flamzeronville, that I like to look up Sephiroth on Google Images, just so I can creep myself out, because he looks pretty scary in Advent Children. And I looked up, stuff about Tales of Destiny, found some pictures of it, mainly of Symphonia. This was sort of at the wake of Symphonia's popularity. And I did see Tales of Eternia, and one thing I remember thinking was, oh, okay, that's cool, so the main character is a girl. That's kind of cool, because instead of a love interest, the two characters on the cover are like best friends. Yes, I, like many people, thought Reed was a girl. I even remember going on Tales Central, looking him up, it's like, oh, cool, is that guy from the cover? It's like, wait a minute, that's a guy. And I remember it's like, oh, okay, I gotta check again. I did check again. It's like, whoa, that's a guy. But after you play the game and you hear how he is, it kind of makes sense how he's a guy, and you can't really question that anymore. But yeah, and so I went on Google and just looked up stuff, and I looked on there for a while, found some stuff. And then I kind of left it alone. It made me more curious about the series, though, and I didn't really know exactly what to do about it. So I kind of just left it alone and waited until I got some other chance. Just kind of forgot about it. Try to finish Symphonia. And so I one day when I was on the Skit Style BBS, because I still go there. I mean, I still went there and whatnot. Someone wanted a link to the skits for Symphonia, and it was like, oh, here it is, and it was a link to Tales Online, and I went on there for like my fanfic called Tales Chat, which I use the Tales skits for, and that, by the way, that's gonna get a big revamp soon. Excuse me. And so I went on there. I think right before I left that website, I did find some new stuff, but anyway. I saw on the links there a website called